Welcome to TV Africa News, and thank you for always joining us. This is Africa Today. My name is Najuma Lima, but first are the headlines. Court reduces Geoffrey Kazinda's jail term to 7 years. General Muhanga breaks ground for construction of Kasindi Beni Butembo Road in DRC. Ethiopia declares humanitarian truce in Tigray. In sports, FIFA World Cup qualifiers playoffs, DR Congo, Morocco seek perfect start. A warm welcome once again. Now the news in detail. The Court of Appeal in Kampala has reduced from 15 to 7 years the jail sentence handed to the former principal accountant of the office of the Prime Minister, Geoffrey Kazinda, for illicit enrichment. We have more. The Anti-Corruption Court's Justice Margaret Tivulia in November 2020 handed Kazinda a 15-year jail sentence after being found guilty of illicit enrichment for having rented Constellation Suites in Nakasero and apartments in Kampala for 10 months at a cost of shillings 210 million, had a house and land at Chadondo, Mengo West valued at shillings 3.1 billion, cars including BMW, Mercedes-Benz, ML Class, Dodge Saloon car, all valued at 769 million, and diverting over 20 billion government funds way beyond his salary. Unsatisfied with the court's decision, Kazinda ran to the Court of Appeal. On Thursday, 3 justices of the Court of Appeal, including Frederick Engonda Ntende, Catherine Bamgemereire, and Christopher Madrama, reasoned with Kazinda and reduced the 15-year jail sentence. Whereas Kazinda has asked court to overturn the entire conviction, the 3 justices of the Court of Appeal dragged feet in reasoning with him, noting that reducing the sentence was only prudent. The embattled former principal accountant in the Prime Minister's office had told the Court of Appeal justices that 5 years imprisonment on each of the 3 counts of illicit enrichment should run concurrently because he was charged with one offense of illicit enrichment and not distinct offenses. However, the judges dismissed this request by Kazinda. The judges found the appellant's argument baseless because he was charged with 3 distinct offenses of illicit enrichment, not arising from one transaction or one set of facts. Section 23 of the Trial of Indictments Act provides for joinder of counts. The opposition political parties have voted Jema President Asman Basalirwa to compete against NRM's Anita Among for the post of speakership.
On Thursday, the opposition caucus in Parliament sat and agreed to vote for their flag bearer in the forthcoming speakership race. In the secret ballot, the Ujiri municipality legislator polled 49 votes against Jonathan Odu's 20 to emerge the winner. Basalirwa will now battle with the ruling National Resistance Movement's Anita Among in the speakership race that climaxes today Friday during a special sitting at Kololo Independence Grounds. The Ugandan Parliament is today sitting to vote the Speaker of the 11th Parliament for the next 4 years after the office holder Jacob Olanya died on Sunday in Seattle in the US, where he had been admitted with a terminal illness. Article 82(4) of the Constitution of Uganda provides that no business shall be transacted in Parliament other than election to the office of the Speaker at any time that office is vacant. During the party's parliamentary caucus meeting held at the Kololo Independence Grounds on Thursday, the ruling NRM party caucus endorsed Government Chief Whip Thomas Taiwa as their flag bearer for the deputy speakership race. He will now face off with Kyoga County and National Unity Platform's Okot Moses, who the opposition had earlier endorsed for the deputy speaker race.
Moving on, the 2 commanding officers for Operation Shuja from the Ugandan Army and its counterparts from DRC have broken ground for the construction of the 125-kilometer Kasindi Beni Butembo Road. The ceremony, which took place at Impondwe Lubiriha border post, drew a mammoth crowd from the 2 sister countries. Speaking during the function, the UPDF commander for Operation Shuja, Major General Kayanja Muhanga, remarked that the road project is important for it is regarded as security road as well as a national strategic end state of creating a peaceful environment for the people to carry out business unfettered. He underscored the cooperation of the two militaries that he said is of great benefit to the citizens of both countries. He noted that the first and second phases of the operation against ADF rebels to dislodge and destroy their camps of Tondori, Abia, Kambi, Yawia, Chua and others and dominating the cases have been completely successful. Major General Bombele Camille Ehola from FADRC said that the joint forces are working together, sharing the available resources and fighting the enemy of peace together. General Bombele said their cordial relationship in fighting the enemy is being shown in the results of Operation Shuja and is also reflected amongst their soldiers who are eating, sleeping and fighting together. He said that by breaking ground for the construction of the 125-kilometer road, they are implementing what the two presidents of Uganda and DRC agreed upon to construct roads, adding that the joint forces were ready to execute the task to its successful end. Presenting documents endorsed by two presidents to customs officials and the contractor Dot Services Limited, General Bombele cautioned immigration and customs officials not to hinder free movement of machinery, human resource and goods meant for the project. Let's take a quick break. We will be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching TV Africa News, The Right to Know. Ethiopia's government has announced an immediate end to its 16-month-long civil war to give way for unimpeded relief supplies into the war-ravaged Tigray region. Let's take a look.
According to a statement by Government Communication Service on Thursday, the government called upon the donor community to redouble their generous contributions to alleviate the situation and reiterates its commitment to work in collaboration with relevant organizations to expedite the provision of humanitarian assistance to those in need. The government called on Tigray's forces to reciprocate the truce for the humanitarian situation to improve in the region. Ethiopia's government has faced growing international pressure to ease restrictions on the flow of humanitarian aid into Tigray. World Health Organization Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, an Ethiopian who considers the Tigray region home, has repeatedly urged Ethiopian authorities to allow free humanitarian access into Tigray. The Tigray region has since November 2020 seen months of political tensions between Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's government and the Tigray leaders who once dominated Ethiopia's government. In June, Ethiopia's government cut off almost all access to food aid, medical supplies, cash and fuel in Tigray.
Away from that, a top court has ordered the suspension of sanctions imposed on Mali in January after the junta delayed elections. The Court of the West African Economic and Monetary Union on Thursday gave the order against the 8-nation body's sanctions against Mali. Malian authorities have repeatedly asked for the sanctions to be lifted and filed a legal complaint with the UMOA court last month, saying they would have severe consequences for the population. UMOA in January had instructed all financial institutions under its umbrella to suspend Mali after the junta decided to delay elections intended to restore democratic rule after coups in 2020 and 2021. The measures were imposed in conjunction with sanctions by the 15-nation economic community of West African states, which froze Malian state assets, closed its borders and suspended non-essential financial transactions. ECOWAS heads of state are due to meet on Friday in Ghana to discuss the post-coup situation in Mali, Guinea and Burkina Faso. Aminata Mboji, spokesperson of the union, said that it was not immediately clear whether UMOA would follow the court decision. The party of ousted Burkina Faso President Roch Marc Christian Kabore on Thursday demanded his immediate release, saying his house arrest is more like a detention. Alassane Bala Sakende, head of the People's Movement for Progress, told a press conference that January 24th March has exactly 2 months since the military coup d'etat under President Roch Marc Christian Kabore has no longer been free to move. He added that the condition of his house arrest had recently been hardened. Sakande, who was the Speaker in the National Assembly before the coup, said that President Kabore is in detention and is only allowed 1 hour with his children, cannot make a telephone call, and can't accept the visits he wants. The United Nations, African Union, and the Economic Community of West African States have already called for Kabore to be set free. West African envoys visited Kabore last week and reported he was holding up well. The 64-year-old was elected in 2015 following a popular revolt that forced out strongman Blaise Compaoré, who came to power in a putsch in 1987. Kabore was re-elected in 2020 but faced a wave of anger over jihadist insurgency that has ravaged the impoverished West African country. Under junta leader Lieutenant Colonel Paul Henry Santiago Damiba, a transitional assembly took office in Ouagadougou on Tuesday. Away from that, the death toll from twin attacks in central Somalia has climbed to 48, according to the leader of Hirshabelle state, with Al-Shabaab insurgents claiming they were targeting politicians ahead of elections.
The first attack in Hirshabelle's Beledweyne district was carried out on Wednesday night by a suicide bomber and killed 2 local lawmakers, including Amina Mohamed Abdi and several of her guards, as she campaigned for re-election. Minutes later, a car bomb exploded outside Beledweyne's main hospital, where the injured were being taken for treatment, killing dozens, causing buildings to collapse and leaving vehicles in charred-twisted ruins. Ali Hussein, leader of Hirshabelle state, said that emergency workers had found bodies buried under debris and urged the citizens to be very vigilant and ordered all security agencies to beef up security. The bombings occurred the same day as 3 people were killed in a separate attack near Mogadishu's airport that was also claimed by Al-Shabaab. The Al-Qaeda-linked militants frequently target civilian, military and government targets in Somalia's capital and outside. The Horn of African nation has seen a spate of attacks in recent weeks as it hobbles through a long-delayed election process. The jihadists controlled Mogadishu until 2011, when they were pushed out by AMISOM troops, but still hold territory in the countryside.
Let's once again take a quick break. We will be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching TV Africa News, the right to know. In our business news today, Africa is growing exponentially in terms of internet connectivity, but at the same time lags behind on cyber security. This is a major concern and was the main theme during the first Africa Cyber Security Summit organized in Togo's capital, Lomé, this week.
Dealing with cyber criminals involves costs, but it also offers opportunities. The African cybersecurity market continues to grow and is estimated to have grown from $1.45 billion to over $2.54 billion between 2017 and 2020. Wanilo Medehan Fagla, the Director General of the Agency for Security of Information Systems of Benin, said that it was an opportunity to develop skills to ensure the continuity of their business and finally to be as efficient as possible. Among the tools put forward to strengthen cybersecurity in Africa, the LOM Declaration is a policy document that commits, among other things, to establish a specific legal and regulatory framework and strengthen Africa's cooperation in cybersecurity. Sina Lawson, a Togolese Minister of Digital Economy, said that they must establish a framework to effectively fight cybercrime and promote a culture of cybersecurity, including the creation and operationalization of authorities, agencies, and teams dedicated to cybersecurity. By bringing together personalities from the public and private sectors around the issues of cybersecurity, the Togolese government and the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa hope to have a global vision of this ecosystem.
In our Health Institute, South African environmental justice groups are celebrating a landmark ruling that recognized the poor air quality in South Africa's Mpumalanga Hive region. On Tuesday, the South African High Court ruled the poor air quality is a breach of residents' constitutional right to an environment that is not harmful to their health and well-being.
In the groundbreaking ruling, the court ordered the South African government to reduce air pollution in the coal mining belt ranked by Greenpeace as the world's most polluting cluster. Mpumalanga, which borders Mozambique, is the hub of South Africa's coal industry and boasts 12 coal-fired plants. The air in that region is the most polluted in the world, with record levels of nitrogen dioxide, according to global environmental charity Greenpeace. Local environmental lobby groups Groundwork and Vukani in 2019 hauled the South African government to court for violating the constitutional right of citizens to breathe clean air in the so-called deadly air case. They won the case with a Pretoria High Court last week, declaring air quality in the area in breach of residents' constitutional right to an environment that is not harmful to their health and well-being. Exposure to toxic materials emitted by coal plants, including sulfur dioxide, mercury, and fine particles, has resulted in an epidemic of asthma, bronchitis, and lung cancer, according to the organizations.
In sports, the Democratic Republic of Congo and Morocco will face off this Friday as the playoffs for the Africa FIFA World Cup qualifiers take a center stage. Whereas Morocco have been ascending and putting up a solid team over the years, DR Congo, on the other hand, have not been impressive, failing to qualify for the just concluded Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon. Securing a ticket to the World Cup will be a great achievement for the Leopards, who are seeking to end their 48-year wait to return to the coveted global showpiece. To reach the playoffs, DR Congo finished top of Group J with 11 points and needed to win their final group game against Benin. Hector Capa's Chargers will hope their good record against the Atlas Lions comes to play in Friday's clash. Congo have only lost twice in the previous 11 games against Morocco, with the last defeat coming 16 years ago. Even when the two teams faced off at the 2017 Africa Cup of Nations in Gabon, DR Congo won 1-0, courtesy of Junior Kabananga's goal. However, Morocco, despite an early exit at this year's AFCON, were head and shoulders above every other African team during the World Cup qualifiers group stage, winning all of their 6 Group 1 games by a combined score of 21. With 5 appearances at the World Cup's finals, the Atlas Lions will fancy their chances of coming out on top against an opposing side who have only featured once at this level. That was the news. Thank you for always keeping it TV Africa. Please do stay tuned.